Asclepius syriaca. So milkweed produces these pods, which at this stage, of course, if we break them open, they're going to have maybe the feathery seeds or some of the milky sap, which is getting on my hands a little bit. So yes, it's still present. At this stage, it is not edible. It will be very bitter, this sap, and it has some toxicity. It has some cardiac glycosides that can be hard on the heart. The toxicity of milkweed is part of its intelligence, blended with the intelligence of the butterflies, the monarchs, right, who feed off of it. When they feed off of the flowers, some of those glycosides are ingested and they can withstand them and they don't cause them harm. But if other creatures eat those butterflies, they will harm them. At this stage, it's protecting its precious seeds, not for eating. But when it's younger, when these pods, kind of late July, when they're just like about an inch or so, you can pick those. If you find that there's an abundance of plants and there are enough pods around, you can pick 1 or 2 from this plant, 1 or 2 from that plant. Please make sure that we leave the seeds, some of them to spread as well. But there are definitely areas where these grow very abundantly and there are enough to go around. So you can taste them raw and they're pretty sweet and they make a nice snack. However, if you eat them raw, for some people, it will tend to be a little bit harder on the digestion. So a really nice idea is to just steam the immature pods of the milkweed. Just lightly steam them or parboil them. And you can eat them with a bit of butter and salt. You can put them into stir fries and things like that. What I tend to do is I parboil them, so just 30 seconds in some water, and then in some boiling water, and then let them cool and put them in the freezer, in a freezer bag. And they will keep very nicely that way. And then I'll put them in soups over the winter or stews. And the milk, the sap in there at that stage is sweet, just slightly sweet. When you put it into soup, if you have a little one on a spoon, you can just let it pop in your mouth when you when you eat it and enjoy, a wild food, or break it open in the soup and the sap comes out and it kind of curdles in it like when you put cheese into soup, like similar sort of reaction.
And what are the benefits of eating?
Well, you would get a lot of the minerals that the plant is taking up from the roots because it lives for a few years, and so the roots are pulling up whatever minerals are in the soil. Particular minerals concentrated in the pods, I'm not exactly sure. But generally when we're eating seed pods, we're getting more or less the whole nutritional profile of the plant that's just being formed to produce the seeds, and we'll generally get a certain amount of healthy fats that are supporting the growth of the seeds, as well as some protein. It's a pretty nutritious piece, and it's a nice vegetable. Also, when the milkweed is young in the early spring and the shoots come up, you can cut them and take the young leaves off, and those shoots are kind of like asparagus. You can just saute them, they're tender, they have a mild sweetness as well, and that's another way that you can enjoy them. Also, the flowers are edible, and they can be sprinkled on salad. You wouldn't want to have too much of it, and you also wouldn't want to take too many of the flowers because, of course, that is the food for the butterflies.